Welcome back to another episode of Graps and Yaps. This is the go-to podcast for everything pro wrestling, where we are going to recap what's happened inside and outside of the ring from the last week. And whether you are a lifelong fan like us, or you're just a victim of the wrestling algorithm, we thank you for being here, and we hope you enjoy. I'm Phil Fresh, one half of the show, and my tag partner down the line, joining me from Wollongong somewhere. Sorry to dox you.
Yeah.
My tag partner Tony Free. What's happening, bro?
Not much. Yeah, just in the home today, in the humble abode. So yeah, some change of settings in the background, a little bit of an angle drop on the camera, but good to be back talking about some wrestling again this week, and always fun time of the year. So I'm sure we have a lot to unpack today.
It's ramping up. I'll tell you that much. It's ramping up. Obviously, we're going to get into the recap of the week, suss of little vibes of what's on the WrestleMania card so far, and then we're going to continue the WrestleMania tier list. We started it last week. Have you had any, thoughts about the current rankings? Obviously, we've got 14 at solid, 37 at decent, and 15 and 4 at it happened. Have you changed your mind on it, or are you just going to wait to see what else we get today?
Look, I think those ones were pretty good selections in terms of the tiers that they fell into. I'd like to see a couple more drop into the flop tier moving forward. So hopefully, maybe today we get a flop tier WrestleMania. Fingers crossed.
Damn, it might be that, or we might get a goated one. We'll see where we land. But let's start off how we always start off with some outside the ring news. The first bit of outside the ring news, this literally happened maybe a few hours, like early hours of this morning. WWE Unreal, the Netflix series, has just been nominated for 3 Emmys. I want to say this is like the first time that the WWE has been nominated for Emmys. Do you reckon I'm right in saying that?
Possibly, and it's also crazy if it's true. Like, considering, WWE's been on TV for over 20 years. Longer than The Simpsons. WWE Raw, the longest episodic television show in history. So yeah, I thought it was cool. 3 Emmy nominations. That's definitely something to be proud of if you're at the WWE and Netflix. So yeah, well done to everyone there. It's just going to be hilarious if they do win that award. I can just imagine Triple H when he's, doing his acceptance speech, and he's just like, "This is what we do. Unless you've been living under a rock, WWE is hot right now."
I was going to ask, my next question was going to be, who do you think goes to accept the award? I mean, Triple H makes the most sense, but I doubt it'd just be him. Like, who... But if you had to bring another wrestler, someone who was prominent on the show to accept that award, who are you bringing with you?
I think you have to have Seth freaking Rollins. Like, I know he was on the cover of like this past season of Unreal, but he's featured prominently in both seasons now, so it just makes sense. If he was the guy who's accepting something like that, especially considering he does a lot of like the press stuff. When he was out injured, he was featured heavily across like a lot of sports media on ESPN, like anything to do with the NFL. Usually see Seth Rollins involved, so I think he'd be a good face, if they're going to accept an award like that.
Me personally, I'm bringing the Road Dogg with me. Moving on to some other outside.
Oh no!
Did you see this? Tama Tonga, he got fined. He got fined for posting some footage of rehearsals from SmackDown on his Instagram. He's been doing this for a while. He's got the Meta AI glasses. He's been filming. I've been loving the content, to be honest. But this one may be a misstep from my boy, Mr. Yeah. Allegedly, it was a significant fine. Now, speaking of Unreal, like, I mean, do you reckon this is deserved? Do you reckon he deserves this?
I mean, unless there's like really sensitive information that is getting out there, I don't have a problem with it, because like with Unreal now, like this sort of like, if there is something, it does eventually make its way to TV. Maybe there is something like in these little episodes which they're saving for something like Unreal. So I don't know. Maybe that's why. I did see like Tama Tonga, he posted, saying like, thank you guys for tuning into the live. I made a mistake. Let's move on. You know, so it looks like it's been buried pretty quickly. He, you know, obviously learned his lesson, and that might be the end of that now. So not as much content coming our way from Tamatonga as we're used to, but I'm sure he'll still provide the gems that he does on Instagram and TikTok and the like.
I tell you what, yeah, amen on the gems, man. I've been enjoying all of his posts. I think it works in his favor as well. I feel like that's one side of wrestling that like some people get and some people are still trying to figure out. But Thomas Honga, and I feel like this is just like, not, it kind of just happened this way, but I reckon he's gotten a bit more of a following now because of those videos. Some people are starting to like that boy, Tomatonga. And last bit of outside the ring news, mate. How about us? Never wrong, just early. Ted DiBiase found not guilty of all of those things. There was something to do with the welfare money and all that stuff. He's found not guilty, all right? Literally within the week, okay, after we just mentioned his name, say his name, and he is found not guilty. Ted DiBiase is free. And there was a video this morning, and I don't understand the context of this all, but his attorney was on a podcast. I don't even know what the podcast is for. Why would you have an attorney on the podcast? Maybe it's a law podcast. But anyways, Ted DiBiase's attorney was on there, and Ted DiBiase in the background on the phone. He's saying something, and then he goes, April 18, April 18. April 18 is night one of WrestleMania. Has Ted DiBiase worked himself into a shoot? Are we getting some legacy at WrestleMania this year, Tony Free?
You know, I was maybe 70% confident last week that it might be Ted DiBiase coming in to get involved in this storyline between Randy Orton and Cody Rhodes. I'm going to bump it up now to 85% confident that Ted DiBiase has something to do with this.
A huge 15%.
It has to. It has to. I'm not going to be 100% because, anything can happen. But, I'll stand on 85 right now.
All right. That's looking pretty confident. He's looking a bit big as well. I mean, he's got a month or 3 weeks, really. So, maybe lean it out a little bit. But that's a nice little segue into the recap from the week. Now, Tony Free, we have 6 matches confirmed so far for WrestleMania 42 in Vegas. We're going to switch it up a little bit. I'm gonna let you run the tape, all right? Let's do this in order of what you're most hyped for and work our way down the card. So I've got the 6 matches on our little rundown there. Which of those matches are you the most excited for right now? And we can start talking about that.
It's hard because there's a few there that, there's not too much separating them in terms of anticipation for me. But I think number one, definitely CM Punk versus Roman Reigns, your likely night 2 main event. Man, a lot happened on Raw this week. And yeah, I think it's definitely worthy of being the number 1 spot at the moment.
Man, it seems to be ramping up a lot. I feel like when we did that episode right after Royal Rumble and we had that first promo between Roman and Punk, we're like, oh man, this is going to be a fun ride. And honestly, I know Roman was up for like the next 3 weeks after that, but the last 3 weeks have been home runs for me. And this one was this is a pivotal moment as well in the storyline. We see the Yeet Man, Jey Uso, and his body language, his vibe, his personality, his attitude, big shift this week. First of all, he has the first match on the show, the Usos up against the Vision, and Jey disqualifies their team, him and his brother, after hitting the Vision with the brass knuckles, and then he even checks LA Knight in backstage for talking about the family, which then gets to the main event, the promo. Punk comes out, he says a couple things. Big Jim comes out. Jay comes out after that, and he is just already on one, ready to just go, which then brings out Jim and Roman. And man, oh man, spicy. But it felt like, for me, this was like, it felt like the Winter Soldier, from the Avengers. Can't remember what the saying was in it, but like it was like a certain like sentence or certain words that like unlocked something. And that was literally what happened between Jey and Roman. So Jay and Punk get into it. Jimmy tries to break it up. Roman hits Punk with a Superman punch, and everyone's, that you see. It seems like that's kind of it, right? Jay's out the back, sorry, outside the ring. He goes, Joe, get him, man. You know what you need to do. Smash them all. Get him. And literally that's the phrase. That is like the secret password. And Roman just goes all in, spears him, hits him with a shield powerbomb on the commentary table. This was great. What were your thoughts on this segment?
I loved it. And I think the good thing here and the juicy part about, Jay, telling Roman Reigns to smash CM Punk is that I think Jey Uso is the shot caller here. He is the tribal chief. And I think CM Punk will definitely be leaning into that in the next few weeks. And this is going to play out. And I think we're getting a Roman Jey rivalry post WrestleMania.
Damn, you reckon it's going that way?
I think so. I think, we've spoken, second half of last year when Roman came back and, Jay, he had a really good 2025 as, world champion, main evented a lot of shows, a lot of PLEs. He was just, on that next level as a babyface. And he really elevated himself very close to, Roman Reigns' level. Maybe not at the same level at the moment, but, he was really up there as one of the top guys. And I think now having them in a rivalry post WrestleMania, with them both being former world champions, I think is a really interesting storyline.
I do not see it that way. I see it the other way. I'm thinking we're getting a bloodline reunion. I think we're getting the bloodline back together again. And I'm excited for it. I'm excited for it, man. Like, Jay calling the shot. Now, yes, right. He did call the shot. He said the things that set off Roman. The cherry on top here of this whole segment was after this beatdown, they cut to CM Punk lying on the ground and he's laughing. What you said there about CM Punk, bringing up the fact that Jay called the shots, it's mind games. And I feel like CM Punk is winning the mind games right now. Roman's been whooping him on the mic, saying all these, these punchlines. But right now, CM Punk is winning the mind games. And the other thing that leads me to believe that we're getting the Bloodline reunion. LA Knight said it to Jay on that Raw backstage. He's like, you're starting to sound like Roman. On SmackDown last week, Tama Tonga said the exact same thing to Solo Sikoa. He said, you're starting to sound like Roman. To me, that is not an accident. There is a reason why they've said that. There is a reason why both different people from former members of the Bloodline have been hearing that. I honestly think we're getting the Bloodline 2.0 post WrestleMania. I'm ready for it, man.
But do you think the Bloodline can exist, with everything that's happened and, Jay going out on his own, Solo, becoming a rebel leader and then, leading a group of his own? I can't see these two falling in line under Roman's commands. That boat's past that version of the Bloodline. We can't get that again.
I think it'll be a different iteration, man. Do they come out like every week, like as a one movement? I don't see it that way, but I could see them, kind of monopolizing like the whole show, right? Both shows rather, Raw and SmackDown. Because the other person in the blend that we haven't spoken about, who's been lingering around the WWE title, is the honorary Uce, Sami Zayn. Now that could be, that's a whole nother element, a whole nother thing that needs to be brought up. But that's where I'm at with, plans post WrestleMania. But next week on Raw, the Usos will defend the tag titles against Austin Theory and Logan Paul division. Put a number on it. What are the odds on the Usos losing those tag belts next week?
I'll say 30%. I was gonna go with 50 at the start, and I was like, no, like it's the vision. I remember it's Logan Paul and Austin Theory. And
you reckon?
Nobody has any interest in that because what happens post the Vision winning the tag titles? Like, who are they gonna defend against? Like, what's happening right now in the tag division to give us some juice for a Vision world title run leading into WrestleMania. Absolutely nothing. So
True.
we need keep the belts on the Usos. They'll figure
That's
something out
true.
because they're hot right now. They're in a hot storyline. So
Well, yeah. What do the Usos do?
well, that's the thing. Like they're still involved in this stuff, and you know while they're involved in this, it keeps like that tag title, those tag titles elevated. Around that main event picture. So I'm sure they can find something for them.
Mm.
And there's plenty of people who might be pissed off with the way they're acting, the way they're going about things at the moment. So maybe LA Knight can find a partner to take on the Usos who, you know, channeling Roman Reigns too much right now. I don't know, but there's still a lot to play out there. But I think the best way to, to push the tag titles is to keep it on the Usos right now. Don't,
Mm.
don't I guess drop them down a few levels and give it to the Vision because nobody wants to see those guys right now. We definitely don't want to see them with the tag titles.
Damn. All right. He doesn't speak for me. I wouldn't mind the Vision in there. But you mentioned LA Knight. I want to talk about LA Knight later on. But let's move on to another match that's been confirmed at WrestleMania so far. After Roman and Punk, what's the next match you're most excited to see, Tony Free?
This might surprise a few people, and it might not surprise others. But my second most anticipated match for WrestleMania is Stephanie Vaquer versus Liv Morgan for the Women's World
Oh,
Championship. These two girls just went hammer and tong. Like this was not like they were not trying to protect each other in this brawl. This was an all-out fight.
it was proper. Like you could hear the impact of all the blows between them two. And it's honestly, I'm with you on this one. I am excited for this match. I actually think it'll be there is big potential for this match to be, match of the night on whichever card it's on. Because I think those two in the ring they can go, but I just love this like animosity and this fire between them two, and the way that they've told the storyline has been great. I mean, them brawling into the back, Stephanie Vaquer just whooping Tom Mysterio before his Intercontinental title match, and then just taking it all, through the back into Gorilla, and just seeing them go at it. I'm with you on that one. Like I'm really, really excited for it. Um, do you think? Because I've been loving the videos, but I do think that we need some more promos in ring, or just some more live TV promos. Are you with me on that one?
Yeah, I think so. Like those video packages get boring pretty quickly because they can just be,
They've
they
been
can be
okay, but
replayed.
yes, I for the most part they are pretty dead.
Yeah, and they're just recycled material. Like it's not anything new that we're hearing in any of this. So, we need to get those
Mm.
interactions, whether it be, these sneak attacks where it ends up being a brawl or, face to face in the ring on the microphone where, things are a bit live and a bit more unpredictable. I think that's the way to do it. And, we've what, 3 weeks to go to WrestleMania. Like we're starting to really heat up in this rivalry now. So I think, let's continue just turning the notch up a little bit more on this.
Mm.
I don't know what we can call it. It's almost becoming bad blood. Like these girls hate each other. So yeah,
Yeah.
I think it's cooking right now.
I want to kind of switch gears, or it's kind of in the same vein, but can we talk about the other women's championship? Jade Cargill and Rhea Ripley. Now, this something that this feud is missing, Jade and Rhea is missing, is what Stephanie and Liv are doing really well, which is that fire, that like, that attitude, that animosity between each other. I'm not getting that from Jade and Rhea. I'm not really getting much hate from that. I feel like they had like a little spark when they started beefing on Twitter and sending like subliminal shots and whatnot. But since then, it's been like it's almost like they haven't even acknowledged what had happened online. But maybe we'll see some difference because last week we saw. I mean, I don't know who, if anyone called this, mate, buy a ticket, buy a lottery ticket right now, because I did not see it going this way. But Jade and Rhea meet in the ring. Jade leaves the ring early, met up the ramp by B-Fab and Michin, and just when you think they're gonna put the whooping on Jade, all three of them turn around, they face Rhea, and they beat her down on SmackDown. Does this move you? Does this bring a little bit more spice to the feud, Tony Free?
Nothing at all. If anything, it kind of made me less excited. Like
Really?
It's BFAB Michin. Like, no disrespect to BFAB, like, what has she done ever in the WWE to generate any kind of, like, added interest into a women's world title match at WrestleMania? Like, what is she offering here? Like, absolutely nothing. Michin, she's done a little bit more, and I can kind of respect that, but it just, like, the weird thing is, like, I'm supposed to believe that, like, these three girls are just teaming up because they're not white. Is that what the story is here? So it kind of just feels,
No.
it just feels like it's just, poorly just pushed together. Like, it kind of just
No.
reminds me of when they just, put all the Mexican guys in, in these factions and things like that. So
LWO.
yeah, like, and everything else, like, it just
I
seems
mean, the
it,
Mexican guys being in the LWO makes sense, to be fair.
or like, but like they literally, like, they put them together and then called them the LWO. Like, they didn't really, like, they always, and like, it wasn't just them. Like, they just have, like, the Mexican guys feuding with the other Mexican faction. Like, it was can't remember what they were called now, but Santos Escobar's little group that he had running for a little while. Like, it was that kind
I
of
got it.
vibe. So yeah,
Del Fantasma or whatever, yeah.
yeah. Now we're just feuding with
No,
LWO, and
no.
I'm like, why do we just need to put, like, these three together? Like, there's literally
So,
nothing that links these people together besides the fact that they're
no.
not white.
No, no, no. So obviously on TV they've been beefing, but as WWE has been doing, for the last however many years, is putting little Easter eggs in the background of other segments. And there was a time where Jade was talking to BFAB, in one of the background shots. So there was something. I feel like this was a plan that was cooking, and I think Michin was just sick of Rhea. Look, I actually think that this is perfect for Jade. This is something that Jade needs. She needs like a little group, some little minions around her to make her, feel important. I mean, she's going in on the Lion King scar on her eyebrow, acting like Scar. I mean, there were those little jackals or whatever, like little mini lions or whatever, that were hanging around Scar. For those who are familiar with the Lion King movie, but that I'm with this. Does it make me more interested? Slightly. It makes me a little bit more interested, but overall, my temperature check on this one, it's feeling a little bit cold. All right, that's where I'm at with Jade and Rio. Do you want to? What are you more excited for? All right, because we've got what have we? We've gone through three of the matches there. What are your thoughts on Cody Rhodes and Randy Orton right now? How are we feeling about that timeline?
Like, after last week with the Randy Orton, I guess, like, just becoming the apex predator and just pulling apart Cody Rhodes and just beating the absolute shit out of him, making him bleed and whatnot. I thought I was going to be really, really excited for this, and then I don't know what it was about this episode of SmackDown. It didn't really give me the follow up that I was looking for. I don't know if it was because Cody wasn't there, and Randy, I guess, had to carry a lot of this. I didn't mind the promo at the start of the night from Randy Orton, but I don't know. Like, why do I need him beating up Matt Cardona to push this match for WrestleMania? Like, realistically, what has Matt Cardona been doing since he's arrived back on SmackDown to kind of even be in that spot where him getting beat down makes you more, I guess, pissed off at Randy Orton, or, having some feelings towards Randy Orton? If anything, I'm just standing, I was, applauding. Yeah, good work, Randy Orton. Yeah, beat this guy up who's,
Yeah.
who hasn't really earned his stripes at the moment on SmackDown. Like, it just it doesn't make that much sense
Well, the
leading
connection
into
there is they're
to that
friends.
match. But they haven't told that story on TV. Like, unless
No, they
unless
haven't.
unless and you watch all the interviews and you watch, countless reels
Yeah.
on social media, and you're really tuned in like that, you would know. But, like, and that wouldn't even be, I wouldn't even say that's a quarter of the core audience who are really tapped in.
I'll tell you what's happened. So just yesterday, I got a notification because I'm subscribed to the podcast. Matt Cardona is the latest guest on Cody's podcast. I feel like they should have dropped that like last week.
Oh,
Right?
100%.
That would have made more sense, but they've dropped it today. So I do understand. Yeah, they haven't really told that story. You have to really be in to know, I guess, really know what's going on there. So it does seem a little bit random, but I'm with you. Randy Orton beating him up, that was great. And people have been saying, yeah, Randy Orton heel, like we've got heel Randy Orton back. I don't think he's the heel. Like, you can't be doing that and getting cheered. Like, he's not a heel. He's just locked in. He's in flow state. He's just doing it. There were a couple, like Randy Orton was carrying that episode of SmackDown. It was great. The promo at the start was great, and he kind of addresses, he basically confirms what we were, talking about last week, in that Cody Rhodes kind of gave him the green light to do that beatdown. You know what I mean? He did that, and is talking about getting 15, and talking about the fans and whatnot, and they're still cheering him there, and they're still singing the song. The thing that got me though was Jelly Roll runs into Randy Orton backstage, right? And Jelly Roll starts trying to, you go, mate, what are you doing? This isn't you. I know you as Randy Orton, the father, the husband. Okay, you got to find it in your heart to do the right thing and apologize, brother. This felt like this went for half an hour, and you could kind of tell that while Jelly Roll is doing this little sermon, Randy Orton is like fully like, shut the hell up, man. Like, shut up. I don't care. But he's like clearly just trying to like, yeah, don't worry, man. I'll talk to Matt. I'll talk to Matt. Dude, if I don't see, and I don't know if he's on the show this week or not, but I need to see Jelly Roll punted this week. That's what I need from this
He's
feud. And unfortunately, this is going to make Randy Orton look even bigger.
Well, Jelly Roll has a match with Kit Wilson this week. That was made official by Nick Aldis last week. Yeah, after Kit Wilson, made that beatdown on Jelly Roll later that night. Jelly Roll goes up to Nick Aldis and he says he wants Kit Wilson. So it's happening next week or this week in Pittsburgh.
Hey, thanks for coming, Jelly Roll. You're getting kicked in the head, brother. That's all that says to me, man. I'm ready for it. I'm excited for it, man.
And the fact that like Jelly Roll was just like, Randy Orton, like I know you're a father. Jelly Roll, shut the hell up. Like, if you're a real fan, you would know that Randy Orton is the most dastardly heel to ever exist in the last 25 years. Shut the hell up, you casual fan.
Yeah. Hey, you know what? I listened to Jelly Roll on the Cody Rhodes podcast. I can't agree with the casual fan that he is a ball knower. But yes, come on. We will all there, Jelly Roll. Lighten up. I feel like we're going to get, surely we get Cody Rhodes on SmackDown this week. What do you think Cody needs to do here to not get booed? Like, how can he turn this around? Because I feel like we are all around seeing this version of Randy Orton. What do you reckon, Tony Free?
I don't think there's anything that Cody Rhodes can do to not get booed. I think for the next few weeks and definitely at WrestleMania, he is going to get booed. He's been getting booed for a long time now. Like a lot of these mixed reactions when he comes out. And I think it's only going to get worse going into WrestleMania now that we're getting the Randy Orton that we all know and love. So there is not a single thing that Cody Rhodes can do unless they decide to fill the arena with 15,000 12-year-old kids. There's absolutely nothing to save Cody Rhodes from getting booed in the next few weeks.
It's the harsh truth, unfortunately. I feel like out of all the entire roster, Cody Rhodes is the best at reacting to those kind of ideas, the heat. I feel like he's really good at, using that, but then channeling it back into cheers and stuff. My thing is, if Cody Rhodes wants to get cheered again, you know what he needs to do? He needs to beat the shit out of Randy Orton. He needs to do something bad. That's where I'm at with that one. We got two more confirmed matches on the WrestleMania card to talk about. Let's talk about the Beast and the Ruler. All right, we saw them on Raw again, opening up Raw again. What's your temperature check on this one, Tony Free?
This is actually my third most anticipated match for WrestleMania. So, I did say right at the start that, I had a few that were, very close to each other. And, it's a very close top three for me. So, this only just edges out. If it was only due to the fact that it's Brock Lesnar, and I don't like some of the things that he's done. That's why he's sitting in spot number three right now. If he hadn't done some of those shitty things, he might be number one in this list. But yeah, like I'm loving this. The way that they're selling Obafemi here as the ruler and the guy who could possibly just obliterate Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania. I think it's doing really, really good stuff for me right now.
Man, they cut to shots of him coming out, and you're seeing kids, you're seeing parents, everyone is doing the Oba strut. He is over like Rover. And honestly, you mentioned it last week, and I can't I can't unsee it now. This has to be the free to air match. This has to be the first match on WrestleMania weekend. There is no other match that will get casual viewers or people who just happen to have ESPN on to buy WrestleMania other than this match here, Oba and Brock. And I think it has to be a gimmick match. You could honestly, all of these matches could be gimmick matches, right? Like you could put a stipulation on every single match that's been confirmed so far. But I think out of them all, this one deserves the last man standing match. This deserves to be the first match of the weekend as well, the free to air match. Oba gets him again, man. Oba 2-0. He clotheslines Brock out of the ring. Brock Lesnar felt like he jumped on a trampoline to get over that top rope. He's selling 1,000%. This is exciting, man. I'm very excited for it. What happens now, then? Do you reckon Brock gets his lick back next week?
I'm not sure. I feel like maybe what they should do is, have it look like that Brock will get the upper hand at one stage, but I think it'd be really cool if Oba kind of, outwits him every single time and meets him at every step, and somehow, he manages to get the upper hand in each of those exchanges. I think that would be really cool. I'd love to see a Brock Lesnar going into a WrestleMania match, just absolutely, confused and doubting himself because, he's finally ran into a guy who has the better of him at each turn. I think that would be really interesting.
Can I say something maybe controversial, maybe a hot take? I don't think that Oba has to win here. If he loses against Brock Lesnar, I don't think that's a stain. I don't think you can claim that as a stain. I actually think that Brock Lesnar will win this match. And I'm okay with it. You know what I mean? I think it's to me, and I had these like kind of reservations last week, was that it might be too fast. This might be moving too fast, and I'm looking long term. I'm thinking for the bigger picture. An L against Brock Lesnar isn't a bad L to have, and honestly, I think that the upside is way bigger with a Brock Lesnar win here. That's how I'm feeling about this match.
Yeah, but Triple H, he's said this many times now, where he says, when you've got lightning in a bottle, like you have to capitalize on that. And right now, he has lightning in a bottle with Obafemi. I feel like if Brock Lesnar were to win at WrestleMania, Triple H would just look like, he's just contradicted he would look like a hypocrite. And I think the fans would really turn on him very quickly for that.
Oh, they're already against him now. They already hate him now. What does the one decision make difference? I honestly just think that the upside is way bigger with it. And I love Obafemi. Don't get me wrong. I love Obafemi. I'm doing the strut too. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Something in my brain is saying, let's see what this looks like.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, it's just, I would love for this WrestleMania match to be like a 2-minute squash. And I don't think Brock would be opposed to that. He's a guy who prefers to just, get in, get out, start of the night, and his job's done. He can, get out before the second match has even started. So I think it would be really cool if Obafemi just came in and absolutely squashed him at WrestleMania.
I need the match to be like maybe 10 minutes max. That's the last thing I'll say about this match. Let's talk about the sixth match that has been confirmed for the card. AJ Lee versus Becky Lynch for the Women's Intercontinental Championship. This is the third time that they faced, or will this be their second singles match? I can't remember. I've lost track.
I think it'd be second. I can't remember now either.
Not including the mixed tag.
Yeah, it's been going on for a little while, hasn't it? Like, this match is going to happen at WrestleMania, and that's all we have to say about it. I don't think there's anything else that needs to be said about this.
If we were doing a WrestleMania 42
yeah, like they announced the match and they had that promo this week, but like we knew where it was going. They didn't say anything new. You know, they didn't do anything crazy. It's just happening.
Yes. I think, I guess I don't really have much to say about this happening as well. I don't think it's going to be bad, but I don't think it's going to be standout. And I've said it on previous episodes, I'm not really buying into this, but it's a nice little segue into something else that happened this week where Seth Rollins got arrested. And the reason why this is a segue is because Heyman absolutely rage baits Seth Rollins on the mic. He goes full, just unhinged, talks about him getting arrested, which then leads to Becky getting a divorce and ending up with half the locker room, to then Paul Heyman adopting their child. And just absolutely rage bait Seth Rollins. I love the gimmick security as the police officers arresting Seth Rollins. But it does feel like, it just feels like a lot of filler, and as someone who is familiar with filler, Tony Free, what do you think? Do you think that where this is filler?
Yeah, I still don't know what the hell they're doing with Seth, and are they waiting for a Braun Breaker? Is that why we're kind of just treading water at the moment? It's just it's filler, and my worst fear here is that it's going to be Seth and LA Knight teaming up against Austin Theory and Logan Paul. That would be the worst result out of all of this. This storyline that's been, happening since WrestleMania last year when Paul Heyman and Seth got together to Crown Jewel when it all fell apart. And then, I guess the group being under the leadership of Bron Breakker until he got put on the shelf after the Royal Rumble. It needs a good payoff, because if you're not going to give it the payoff it deserves, why are we still continuing with it? So I feel like they're treading water for a Bron Breakker return, and he might not be that far away because, as I said, he had his surgery right after the Royal Rumble, which was, start of February. So it's been 6 or 7 weeks now. Leading into WrestleMania, it's going to be, that 10-week stage. So surely he's got to be close.
Seth Rollins had injuries before WrestleMania, man. Name a better duo, and it's so unfortunate for that guy. I had a thought, in this last week, and the more as time goes on, as things progress, I feel like we could, if it's not Bron Breakker, do we get Paul Heyman in a match against Seth Rollins at WrestleMania? Or maybe it's Paul Heyman and someone else. Maybe it's Heyman and Bron Breakker. I just think the way that Heyman was talking in that promo, talking about, I'm a man, and just rage baiting Seth, and laughing after Seth got taken away, after he got punched in the head. I reckon that we could be onto a Paul Heyman in a match at Seth Rollins. That interests me more, to be honest, than a Bron Breakker Seth Rollins match right now.
Well, I hope the WWE health insurance cover is, well equipped to deal with having Paul Heyman in the ring, because it just looks like it's set for disaster if he does step into it.
Seriously, no, because I think also we've been seeing the feud between Paul Heyman and Adam Pearce. Adam Pearce will not hesitate. He will not stutter to put Paul Heyman in a match at WrestleMania against Seth Rollins. Now this, obviously it's kind of silly, but it just opens up the door to just crazy things happening, big moments happening at this WrestleMania. I think this is the way to do it. Is there a world where you maybe Paul Heyman links up with Gunther. The Vision's been giving him shit. Brock Lesnar's preoccupied. He doesn't have any protection. We haven't seen Gunther in a bunch of weeks. Is there a world where Paul Heyman and Gunther run around together?
Maybe, but like with Gunther being the career killer right now, he has to be killing careers. I'm not interested in him being in a match with Seth Rollins if his career's not on the line. Like he has Gunther has to be with someone at the moment who he needs to end, and I think maybe that's why he's not on TV because they don't have anyone for him to for their career to be killed right now. So they're waiting until they get someone, and then Gunther goes after them, ends their career, and then moves on to the next one. But yeah, if he's got to be the career killer, you need him on TV about to kill someone's career. And there's maybe not anyone active right now for him to do that with. We spoke about Ray. Ray's obviously injured, so maybe we're just waiting for that. It might not be happening at WrestleMania.
Yeah, it's really unfortunate. I mean, he hasn't been off. He's been off TV for 3 weeks, and the last time we saw him, he unmasked Dragon Lee. I think the safe option is like him and Dragon Lee running back, or maybe we get like Gunther and Penta potentially for the Intercontinental Championship. Maybe there's something there. But yeah, still questions. There's a couple names. I know we're still time, 3 weeks away, but there's some big names that are missing off the card. I mean, you mentioned LA Knight as well, like as a potential tag partner for Seth Rollins. If he's not doing that, he's kind of involved with like the Usos as well. Like, what do we? I don't know what LA Knight does at WrestleMania. Do you have any? I mean, I guess you've already spoken about it. I just there's so many questions. I want to talk about Trick Williams as well. The Lemon Pepper Steppers. We have to see that at some point at WrestleMania Vegas. Do we see it against Sami Zayn? What's your vibe check on that?
Maybe. I feel like Sami Zayn should get a spot on the WrestleMania card, and yeah, maybe Trick is the guy, to have match with, and it's a good way to, I guess, elevate Trick to that next level. He's obviously super over, so, getting him in front of a WrestleMania audience, that's, watching worldwide and things like that is a great way to give him a good spot, especially against Sammy. Sammy, a guy who's, been beloved by a lot of the audience for a long time now. So, and the match would actually slap. Like, I'm 100% keen for. I'd be keen to watch that match, and I think the way they've been going about it, in these promos and these backstage interactions on SmackDown, it's actually working for me. I do want to see these guys have a match at WrestleMania, a lot more than some of the things they've already confirmed for WrestleMania anyway. So I feel like Trick, Sammy, WrestleMania, let's book it.
Javon Evans. Javon Evans had a match on Raw with Grayson Waller, which he won. Also, side note, great to see Big G on TV again. So it was a good match. It was a solid match. Javon Evans, it feels like we might be getting Javon Evans as the Andre the Giant Battle Royal winner this year. What do you think?
Maybe, because it doesn't look like he's getting a WrestleMania match. But it's like, what are the New Day part of this is really interesting. Like, is anything developing there that's going to happen down the line? Like, they did mention on commentary that Grayson Waller has, not been invited into the New Day yet, despite him, being around them for, quite a while now. So like, I feel like something's going to play out there, and it does look like Javon is somehow going to be involved in all this. So I don't know where they're going with it right now, but I'm watching from afar with a curious eye. I'm not too locked in right now, but I'm keen to see where it does head eventually.
I would love for I would take like a longer feud between Javon and Kofi. Javon's already been kind of like, nah, I'm not really interested in like, linking up with you. Kofi's still trying to like, earn his trust, I guess. Maybe that kicks off at maybe at the Andre the Giant Battle Royal. Potentially we get like as a final two, Kofi and Javon, and Kofi just sets him up. Kofi sets up Javon, and we get Kofi Kingston winning the Andre the Giant Battle Royal, and then that starts a little program. I reckon that's fun TV for my liking. But it's still 3 weeks, Time will tell, as we famously like to say here on Graps and Yaps. let's talk about some other little bits from the last week of the recap. Jacob and Drew McIntyre, they fight for the entire episode of SmackDown. That
And a
seems
car
like we're
crash.
getting the car. It started off with a damn car crash. Jeez Louise, yeah, man. I mean, that seems like a match we're going to get, and also seems like another stipulation match. Do you think we're heading that way?
It does. But the thing I want to know here is like we had an arrest on WWE TV this week with Seth Rollins getting arrested. I think the last time we had a car crash on SmackDown, it ended up with Solo Sikoa being arrested or Jacob Fatu was arrested. Do you remember that last year?
Oh, that's right. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Why the
I
hell
do
was Drew
remember.
McIntyre not arrested on SmackDown?
Oh, I know why, and you're not gonna like my answer if you're picking up what I'm putting down.
What is it?
Hey, man. I mean, out of so who'd you say? Solo Sikoa. Who
Jacob
was the other
Fatu.
car crash?
Seth Rollins was
Jacob
arrested this
Fatu.
week on Monday Night Raw.
Okay. I was gonna bring in
Yeah, I threw the white man in
colors
there.
into the chat. Yeah, you got me. All right, you got me. All right, you got me good. But yeah, that was gonna be my answer. Listen, man, I think just the police system is different in the different cities that they go to. So the people. I mean, where was Raw this week?
I want some
Who knows?
consistency for my police officers in America right now.
Yeah, the
Need you guys to
WWE
lift your
police officers.
performance and
Yeah.
really protect and serve your citizens right now.
Seriously, listen up, you guys. We also got new tag champs out of nowhere. I mean, Damian Priest and R-Truth, new tag team belts, new tag team champions after taking it off the MFTs.
I didn't
I
like this.
mean, you didn't like it.
No. Why do I need Priest
No.
and Truth in a tag team with the titles going into WrestleMania? My boys, the MFTs, need to hold those belts. They're doing stuff right now. They're interesting. They're compelling. They're funny when they need to be. Let these guys have the gold. Why do we have to take it off them?
Yeah, I've been enjoying the MFTs on my TV lately as well. They've been looking dope. It feels like they're just separating the belts, so they've got that program with the Wyatt Six. Maybe that's like a what are
We
they?
don't
What
need
is,
that,
what's
though.
the AEW? It's like Anarchy in the Arena. Is that what it's called? That match?
When they have like the 5 or 6
Yeah, they
man
should just do
teams and
something
they
like
just go
that.
wild. Yeah.
Yeah. Can you imagine just them fighting along like the Las Vegas Strip? I mean, it's probably unsafe, and logistically difficult. But hey, I'd be sports entertained if that happened.
I don't know. I'm going to pass on the Wyatts right now. I don't need to see those
Fair
guys.
enough.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
think I
it's kind
said
of dead.
I said it a
Hey?
long time. I said that I was always going to be skeptical about the Wyatts, and I think I've been proven right the whole way through their run right now. Like it hasn't really eventuated into anything crazy. The first night they debuted, wild, haven't been able to follow it up since.
You know what's really pissing me off is the Uncle Howdy. It's not even the mask. The mask is fine, but it's the wig that's attached to the mask. Like, bro, we all know it's you. And we know that you guys it's alter egos and whatnot. Like, just get rid of the weird grey and red strands of hair. You know what I mean? Like, we don't need to be doing this. Feels like High School Musical kind of. Like, what are we doing, man? Like, we're all grown adults here. Take
Think
that
like
thing off.
when I'm watching it at home, and Flick just says it all like she says it all the time, and it's the right statement in just a few words to sum it up, and it's just this is for kids. Every
Yes.
time I watch it, this is literally just made for kids. This part.
Actually, you'll love this. So I had a mate over who doesn't watch wrestling, and Uncle Howdy appeared on TV, and my mate goes, "What the hell is that, Catman?" The Geelong Cats fan, and honestly, I'm like, dude, it actually is. That is Catman for real. Golly,
Shout out Catman.
it's just shout out Catman. Speaking of, wigs and whatnot, Finn Balor returned on Raw this week, costing Dom Mysterio his Intercontinental Championship rematch. He also puts a whooping to Dom and JD. What do you reckon, Tony Free? What's your temperature check on this one?
I don't think I'm that interested in this. I was a while
Yeah.
ago when, they were still in the Judgment Day and they were bickering for so long, but it doesn't seem like it got to the point where it's become like a heated rivalry. It's still like
Heated
not that
rivalry.
crazy. Like,
Hang on a second.
yeah, I don't know. It hasn't hit it for me. I don't know. And the thing is, like, now I'm looking back, like, and they reference this during Raw that, Dom pinned Finn last year at WrestleMania to win the Intercontinental Championship.
True. I
And I'm
forgot
just
about
looking
that.
back now at like thinking about Finn Balor's matches at WrestleMania the last couple of years. They always seem to be involved with the Judgment Day. He had the match with Edge um, a few years back. Obviously, he was involved in the Intercontinental Championship match where Dom won the title. And then I guess like a lot of the power struggle came from that. So I'm like, this isn't anything new. Like, it's not groundbreaking for me as well. Like, yeah, it's just, I feel like I've seen this before, but now we're just subbing Dom in to be the dance partner.
Yeah. I had to look it up because I was like, has Finn Balor even won a match at WrestleMania? His record is 1-3. His one win was at WrestleMania 35, where he defeated. Do you remember Tony Free?
I can't remember now. It's what 10 oh, 7 years ago.
Yeah, it was Bobby Lashley. I honestly, you could have given me 20 guesses. I wouldn't have guessed that.
No, well, no, nothing to remember then.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, his record is terrible, and I feel like it's going to get even worse if he's up against Dom Mysterio at WrestleMania. Is there anything else from this week of wrestling that you want to talk about, Tia?
There's one thing,
Here
and
we
it
go.
is IShowSpeed. First of all, showing up on Monday Night Raw. Secondly,
Yeah.
he was cursed by Danhausen, and I really want to see what happens now.
What does that mean for Speed? Hey, honestly, in our group chat, it was mentioned that a tag match, if they needed a celebrity match at WrestleMania, it should be Speed, and I reckon that's the one. I'd rather see Speed in a match than Jelly Roll. You
100%.
know what I mean? Is that how we get? Maybe this is how we get there from a curse. Maybe it's Speed and Danhausen. Oh, geez, I don't even know who you'd put them up against. Honestly, put them against the Vision for the tag belts. You know what I mean? Like that. Let's do that.
Oh, has Speed had a match before? He hasn't, has he? Like, he just had that little
No.
random spot in the Rumble. So,
Yes.
yeah, I don't know how he'll go in the ring. And yeah, I think tag match is probably the best way to do it. Hide him a little. But, like, who's there on Raw that, like, he could tag against? Like, besides, I don't think they're going to put the Vision in a match with Danhausen and Speed.
No, no
Um,
way. I mean, you could chuck him in the Andre the Giant battle royal, maybe. I don't know.
yeah. Well, whatever they
Potential.
do, I just want to see how this curse plays out because what is going to happen? Because Speed obviously is not on the show like 51 weeks of the year. So what curse do they have lined up for Speed? That's what I want to know.
So, some other like interesting tidbits that I have noticed on the internet. So, you familiar with the YouTube group The Sidemen?
No, I'm not a YouTube dude, so I'm going to have to
Okay.
need some education on this.
So I'll tell you. So the Sidemen, do you know KSI?
Yep.
So it's kind of him and like his mates. They make YouTube videos. They play FIFA. They do charity matches. They've got a charity match happening this year, right? And normally they get like streamers, influencers, whatever, celebrities to play in this game. And there was a video that came out earlier this week where the Sidemen are talking about who they invited and who wasn't able to play, right? And one of the names of Speed, they were like, why didn't you guys invite Speed? Because he's played in these games before. And they said, nah, Speed couldn't do it this year. I've just looked up the date of this charity match. The charity match is on April 18th.
Oh, there you go.
So it reeks of some IShowSpeed at WrestleMania. And maybe that's how we get to what the curse is. Actually, speaking of curses, before we move on, did you see the Johnny Gargano stuff on NXT?
I only saw that he won the gauntlet match, so now he's got a North American
Yes.
title match against Miles Bourne.
Because didn't he get
He's
cursed,
finding his form
like,
again?
they reversed the curse? I'm pretty sure it was on the Raw or SmackDown, and Candice LeRae goes up to Danhausen and is like, and because he's been doing this like lying on the ground gimmick, and Candice was like, can we like reverse the curse or whatever? And then she kind of gave him some cash, like $20 or something, and he did it. And then now
he's winning.
He's won this gauntlet match, and now he's winning. So look, man, I am sports entertained. I'm all in on this. If you have any ideas on what this curse means for Speed, let us know at Graps and Yaps on social media. All right,
let's
do it. Let's do this. Actually, can you do me a favor? Can you turn off your camera and then turn it back on again? Because your camera's been frozen. I can hear you, but your camera's been frozen for like 20 minutes.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
What about now?
Yeah, we back, baby. All right. So, ready to do this tier list?
Yep. Let's go.
All right. Another episode of Graps and Yaps, another visit to the WrestleMania tier list. We are ranking all 41 WrestleManias that have happened and putting them in the tiers as follows. Up the top, goated. If you're not goated, then you're the next tier below, which is solid. Decent is in the middle. That's the middle tier. Below decent is it happened, and you don't want to be at the bottom of the list, which is flop. All right, we've gone through 4 WrestleManias so far. I've got the wheel here, and I guess we can just run it. Tony Free, do you want to call, whatever this lands on, just call the tier that it's going to be in, all right?
Big suspense.
It's landed on a number. Do you want to say a tier that it's going to land in just off the bat? No knowledge of the number?
I was going to say goated. Let's hope it's one of the all-time classics.
Okay, WrestleMania 18.
Oh,
what do you think? Do you remember that card?
that's one of the first WrestleManias I watched, and I'm pretty sure it was Austin versus The Rock? Or was it Rock versus Hogan?
It
was Rock versus Hogan. It was Icon versus Icon.
That's right.
I think this might be one of the goated ones for me.
All right.
Trying to remember.
Okay.
I'm trying to remember who else. I know there was this is like peak Attitude Era right here.
Yes.
And there was a big card. And I think we had...
Yeah, I've got it here.
I think we had because I'm pretty sure... I'm trying to think. I don't think The Rock and Hogan were even the main event of this WrestleMania.
Confirmed they were not the main event. The main event was Triple H versus Chris Jericho for the Undisputed title. So that happened. Stone Cold was up against Scott Hall. We had The Undertaker up against Ric Flair in a no DQ match. And then there was a lot of mid card matches in between here.
Yeah, RVD
2 more matches after
the IC champ.
That's right. Yes, that was the first match. Rob Van Dam against William Regal. And you're thinking goated.
I think so.
Thinking goated.
Yeah.
I understand your sentiment because yes, this is one of the first ones you've watched. So I understand where you're coming from. And the Hulk Hogan Rock match, honestly, it's up there as like top 3 best WrestleMania matches of all time. Maybe matches full stop of all time. I don't think, for me, I'm not feeling that it's a goated. I do think it's for sure solid, but I could be convinced. I mean, could you give me another argument that gives it deservedly in the goated tier?
Well, like Undertaker and Ric Flair, like that
in this card.
Oh, but you had to. There was 12 matches. Like this is the days when it was just one night, so you have to I guess keep that in mind. Like
sure.
Like recent WrestleManias, you can kind of weed out a lot of that filler material because they're just going 6 matches each night. So you just get your 6 best across those 2. But when you have a really long WrestleMania on one night, you're going to have to need those little filler matches like I think maybe the Women's Championship that night, which was in between Rock and Hogan and Triple H and Chris Jericho. Still slapped. Jazz, Trish Stratus, Lita, they probably got, probably just less than 10 minutes, but I'm sure top to bottom, I think WrestleMania 18 memorable. even though, yes, there is some sentimental value there for me, but just the moments alone in The Rock and Hulk Hogan, like those just live forever. Like, you got to remember, this was Hollywood Hulk Hogan who walked in, and then this is what turned everything around for Hulk Hogan to return to the red and the yellow.
All
This is
right.
peak Rock as well.
All right.
Peak Rock.
Look, I'll let it go. We can put it in goated for now. But yes, that match. I think that off that match alone, Rock and Hogan, it does. Yeah, we can put
Also,
it in
like
goated. All right, so that
going through the list of talent on this show, like RVD winning the Intercontinental Championship from William Regal. You had DDP defeating Christian for the European Championship. You had Maven and Goldust in a hardcore championship match. Kurt Angle defeated Kane. The Undertaker defeated Ric Flair. Edge defeated Booker T. We said Stone Cold defeating Scott Hall. But then we had this four corners elimination tag match of Billy and Chuck defeating the APA, the Dudley Boys, and the Hardy Boys. And then, and then Triple H defeating Chris Jericho, who was the first undisputed champion at the time. This is like peak WWF right here.
Yeah, I feel like famously it was after that WrestleMania that's when the ruthless aggression era started. So yeah, that's the kind of like the full stop on the Attitude Era. Let's move on to the next one. All right. Do you want to just blind rank where we're going to chuck this one into just off the bat while it's spinning?
Let's just go. It happened. Let's set the bar low.
We have landed on WrestleMania 25.
Oh, goated.
WrestleMania 25. This could be in that tier. This was in Dallas, or was it somewhere in Texas? 25. Oh, hang on a second, because this could. Wait a second. By the logic of what you said about WrestleMania 18, 25 is the Undertaker versus Shawn Michaels.
Goated.
With the same reasoning. Yeah, no, we can't put this in goated. We cannot put this. I refuse to put this one in goated. We also had Matt Hardy versus Jeff Hardy in an Extreme Rules match. This is when Money in the Bank was still at WrestleMania, so CM Punk had won that one.
Goated.
Oh my god, this is Miss WrestleMania Battle Royal.
Goated.
You know who won that one, Tony Free?
Santina.
We are not putting
Morella.
this in goated. We are not putting this in goated. This is Chris Jericho 3-on-1 against Jimmy Snuka, Ricky Steamboat, and Roddy Piper.
Goated.
I refuse to put this in the goated tier. Absolutely not. Off that, this could be it. Honestly, it could be it happened, but I think with that card having Shawn Michaels and The Undertaker, it might be enough to lift it up into the decent tier. That's where I'm at.
I think, there was mixed reviews, but I don't know. I think maybe I'm holding some sentimental value here, but just that entrance from Shawn Michaels alone, where he's, rising up in the all white on that, that's lift, the scissor lift or whatever they had.
Yeah.
Oh, man, cool memories.
Great.
This is not a forgettable WrestleMania, that's for sure.
Hey, if I said that Rock and Hogan is top 3 WrestleMania matches, I mean, this one is in there too. Off the bat, we've already hit 2 of them. I honestly, I want to put this in decent. Are you okay with that?
I think maybe decent. It probably would have been better if I think the main event was Randy Orton and Triple H. Yeah. And I think that was kind of like it never really clicked, that match, maybe. That might be why it kind of stopped it from being better than it could have been.
18 and 25, 2 WrestleManias that Triple H main evented, and 2 main events that definitely shouldn't have been the main events on that card. Poor Triple H. All right, we're chucking it in decent. We're spinning the wheel one more again. I'm hoping we can get it goated in here. I mean, I know we already did, but I mean, I'll put an asterisk next to that one, Tony Free. Okay. We have landed on WrestleMania 40. Philly. This could be goated. This one could be goated. All right, at the very least, solid.
Yeah. Well, it depends how you look at it. Like, do we split the nights here, or do we look at it overall, 2 nights?
We're
Because one
looking
night
at
was a lot better than the
we're
other
doing it
one.
overall. We're doing the overall thing. I thought about it. I'm saying we're doing overall.
Because one night was a lot better than the other one.
So night one, we had Rhea Ripley defeating Becky Lynch. We had the tag team six-pack ladder challenge for A-Town Down Under, and the Awesome Truth won that. Jey Uso versus Jimmy Uso, which was what it was. We had Bianca Belair, Jade Cargill, and Naomi against Damage Control. Sami Zayn defeating Gunther. Then we had Roman Reigns on the Rock defeating Cody Rhodes and Seth Rollins. That's night one. Moving on to night two, Drew McIntyre winning the World Heavyweight Championship with CM Punk getting involved in Damian Priest cashing in. We had Logan Paul defeating Kevin Owens and Randy Orton. And then, of course, we get that main event. Famously, the most exciting, the best 5 minutes of WrestleMania in WrestleMania history. Cody Rhodes finishing the story against Roman Reigns. Now, with all that considered, I kind of want to put this... I think I want to put this in... This could even be... There's an argument for it to be decent as well, but I think it's solid.
This might be... Oh, this is hard. Just because we had the really awful Jimmy and Jay singles match on night one. We had... What else did we have? A-Town Down Under won the tag titles, did you say?
That's
on
right,
this one?
yeah.
They won the tag titles, so that was cool. I'll put it in decent.
Decent. Yeah, honestly, I'm okay with that. I think though, because I think 40 is better than 25 though, and they're in the same tier. We can get into those later. Let's do one more, and then we can get out of here. All right, spinning the wheel one last time. Hopefully we don't get a dead one like WrestleMania 2 or something. All right, and it's rolling, and we have landed at WrestleMania 32. Tony Free, do you remember the card off the top?
32. What city was it in? Was that Charlotte and
Dallas.
Sasha and Becky? Main
That's
event?
right. Confirmed.
Ooh.
Yes, correct.
Just trying to remember what else was on
WrestleMania
the card.
32. I remember on this card was Roman Reigns and Triple H in the main event. I remember... Oh, here we go. I've got it here. Okay, so it started off with the Intercontinental 7-way ladder match, which Zack Ryder won. Then we get into Chris Jericho and AJ Styles. We have the League of Nations against the New Day, and then afterwards we get Mick Foley, Shawn Michaels, and Stone Cold coming out. Oh, this one is also Brock Lesnar against Dean Ambrose. And then, like you mentioned, Charlotte, Becky, and Sasha Triple Threat. The Undertaker, Hell in a Cell match against Shane McMahon. Baron Corbin wins the Andre the Giant Battle Royal.
We had The Rock.
Impromptu match of The Rock against Eric Rowan. And then, the main event, Roman Reigns and Triple H.
This one happened.
This one could be it happened. This could be it had happened WrestleMania. Just off that card alone. I mean, especially there were a ton of moments in that. I just remember New Day coming out of the cereal box. I remember that John Cena returned and kind of evened up the odds with the Wyatt family. But I mean, outside of that, yeah.
Do you remember the stipulation between The Undertaker and Shane McMahon for this match?
Oh, was the lockbox?
The lockbox.
Oh my god, we never found out what was in that lockbox. What the hell? Honestly, the lockbox could bump it down into flop, but look, we can end it on that. It happened. All right. That's where we're at with the tier rankings. I love doing this. I'm keen to do some more next week, and again, let us know what you guys think. All right, let's get out of here.
Yep.
That is it for another episode of Graps and Yaps. Big thank you to TF, Teeny Free, for joining me, breaking down the week that was. Make sure you're following us on Instagram, TikTok, X, and YouTube at Graps and Yaps. Also hit that follow and also leave a rating on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Share it to a mate. Big episode today. Tony Free, anything exciting coming up for you this weekend?
Just heading down to Melbourne to catch some footy and
Hey.
have some coffee and look at some art. Just doing some Melbourne things. It's supposed to be nice
Nah, I'm
and
cool.
yeah, very core. I get my best Salomons on. Yeah, gonna be cold though, so I'll have to pack the hoodie and a few pairs of jeans. Beanie might come out. It's supposed to be like 15 degrees tomorrow, so it's gonna be fun. But
Jesus, the hell?
yeah, I know. So yeah, getting the full Melbourne experience, which should be great. What about you?
Mate, business
And
as
who have the
usual.
bunnies got
I'll be
this week?
watching SmackDown. We got the bye. We're up
Oh,
against the bye. Hopefully we
default
win.
win.
And then next week we've got the Good Friday match between the Bulldogs, which is going to be a big one. So
True.
good. It's a good bye to have before a big match like that. Otherwise, you know what I'll be doing? Watching some damn wrestling. Tony Free. I'll see you next week. Enjoy Melbourne.
See you next week. See you guys.